So Rebecca, can you tell me a story about a personal experience of discrimination?
Okay, first of all, I want to tell you my name. My name is Rebecca Tam, and I have been living in Toronto for the last 35 years, and I work for the Toronto District School Board, and I retired as a school principal. So the story I would like to tell you is when I first started teaching, when I was a new teacher, and I went into a school, and there was in the early 90, 80, and I was a new teacher there, and I went into a school with a staff member, about 30 teachers. And every day I would go into the staff room, and all the teachers were sitting there, and they were having a great time and talking. I would be the one sitting there, and I found it very difficult to fit in. So I thought, as the new kid on the block, sometimes it takes a little while to get to know people and to make friends. But I would always go into the staff room and make sure that I'm there socializing with the teachers and so on. And on the staff, there was also an Indian teacher. And I noticed that she was always eating in her own classroom. So I said to her, why don't you come to the staff room and eat? She said, no, it's okay. I eat in my classroom. And at the time I thought, she's not being very sociable. I said, I'm not going to be like that. I want to make sure that I go in and get to know everybody and make friends and contribute whatever I can. But for some reason, I found I was always by myself, and I would try to go to a table where the teachers were eating, but whenever I went to the table, the teachers would very quickly disperse. They would say, I finished my lunch now, and sorry, I have to leave. And I would always end up being the only person at the table, even though when I first went there were full of people. So it happened for a little while, and I noticed people were having a good time talking and laughing, so I would say, okay, can I come and join you? And as soon as I went to the table, again, they would leave very quickly. And that went on for quite a while. And I said, okay, Rebecca, you don't know anybody, you're a new teacher, so, you don't know anybody, so that's it. And I didn't think much of it. And many years later, I met a teacher on the street, and I still remember his name. His name is Gordon. And he came to me and he said, Rebecca, I want to apologize to you. I said, for what? He said, you know what? I was a teacher at the school, and there would always be a group of teachers. They would be making fun of you and talking about you every day in the staff room. And whenever you came in, they would stop talking about you, and they would leave. And I thought it was so cruel, and I didn't want to be a part of this. So I left the school, and I felt so bad at the time that I did not stand up for you. I didn't tell the teacher to stop. It's not fair to teach another fellow teacher like that. But that was 30 years ago. And that kind of explained all the behavior of the teachers. And I didn't know that all these teachers, a lot of them were making fun of me, the way I talk, the way I look. They're teachers. And that happened 30-some years ago. And I remember, because one time a teacher was yelling at me in front of all the students. I was taking a group of students, we're waiting outside to go into the gym. And kids are kids, and they're talking a little bit, you can never make them to be 100% quiet. And so my students were talking a little bit, not a lot. And this one teacher come out, and he was with his own group of students. So we have two groups of students in the hallway. Mine was waiting to go into the gym, and his group was passing by. And his students were not the angels, we were not the best. And he started yelling at me. He started yelling at me, saying, well, Mrs. Tam, you should look after your students. Why are they, so noisy about it? Start yelling and screaming at me in front of the kids. And I was so embarrassed, and I said, Rebecca, you are a lousy teacher. You cannot maintain order of those students. And actually, I'm a very, very good teacher. But like time and time again, there were so many stories. And when Gordon told me about how the staff were making fun of me behind my back every day, and I was the material for all the jokes and all the conversation. Then everything was made clear to me, all the behavior of the teachers. And I remember another incident. I was in the arts room. So we have a big art room, and it was a junior high school. So the teacher would take the students into the art room, and they would do the art. And inside the large art room, there was another room that the teacher would do the preparation. And I was in the little room doing my preparation, going around doing my own thing, getting things ready, cutting paper and all that kind of thing. And the same teacher who shouted at me in front of all the other kids, he brought his students in to work in that classroom. So, it is not unusual for two teachers to be in the same room. He was teaching his class in the other room, and I was doing my preparation in the small room. And I was an adult, I was a teacher, and I was not screaming or yelling or doing anything inappropriate. I was just doing my thing. He opened the door to the small room, and he had all the students out looking, and he shouted at me. He said, "Mrs. Tam, you need to leave this room. You have no right to be in this classroom." And I said, and I was so shocked at what he said to me, because he was shouting and screaming at me in front of all these kids and trying to humiliate me. And then all the kids were just waiting, like they're watching. I said, wow, okay, what is Mrs. Tam going to say to this teacher? I mean, even the students knew it was very, very inappropriate. For another teacher to scream and yell at another teacher like this, they had never seen something like this, in their school. I was so angry, I was so upset, but I was so speechless. I didn't know how to react to another person who treat another staff member like this. But I was really angry. So I said to myself, "Rebecca, how are you going to react to this now? If you don't do anything, all the students will think, you are overwhelmed. You cannot let the other teacher treat you like this. But on the other hand, Rebecca, you are a professional. You cannot sing to his level. You cannot be screaming and yelling and start this yelling match in front of all the students." Oh, and I didn't know what to do. So I thought for a minute. I had to steady myself, and all this anger and resentment in me, I was very upset, because this was not the first time he humiliated me in front of all the kids. So I thought for a minute. So I got up, I stood at the door, and I looked at him, and I said, "Mr. Smith, I'm sorry. I can also use this room. You use this side of the room, and I'm going to use this side of the room." And then I took the door and I slammed it shut as loud as I could. And the students go. And I think that was the display of displeasure that I did in front of the students, because I have to let the students know that any staff member cannot treat another staff member like this. You have to stand up for yourself. I could tell you, incidents after incidents, what I experienced as a school teacher in Toronto. But I have to tell you, that was 37 years ago. This kind of behavior would not be tolerated in today's teaching environment. And I'm so happy now that the TDSB has the policy and the consequences in place for anybody who behave like this towards another staff member or a student. And so I'm happy that today's environment is much better, that we stress on dignity and respect for all students and staff members. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity to share this story.
Thank you.